The fog arrives like a curtain, slow and suffocating. One moment the road is clear, the lines crisp beneath my tires, the trees and guardrails marching in familiar order. The next, I am swallowed. Headlights flare into pale, misty halos, and the world dissolves into white-gray nothing. I can't see the horizon. I can't see the shoulder. I can't even tell if I'm moving. I ease off the accelerator. The car responds with a soft, uncertain hum, as if unsure it can be trusted. Tires crunch faintly on asphalt that feels more imagined than solid. My hands grip the wheel so tightly that the knuckles whiten, but the car feels detached from me, floating, slipping through a world that has become textureless. The radio is off. I don't want sound. I want to measure the fog in its own silence. The air is thick, almost liquid, smelling faintly of wet earth and metal. I roll down the window an inch. Cold seeps in, carrying the distant, hollow wail of a lone train horn far beyond the valley, or maybe inside my skull. I can't tell. I take a breath. The fog swirls with every exhale, creating phantom shapes in the periphery of my vision. I blink. They vanish. I blink again. They reform, too symmetrical to be natural. Vertical columns like figures in long coats, bending slightly as though inspecting the road. I turn my head. Empty. Only fog, dense and indifferent. My heartbeat thunders in my ears. I press the accelerator gently. The tires hiss over the wet road. The fog shifts with me. Every time I glance at the rearview mirror, the white haze seems closer, denser, like it is breathing behind me. I try to rationalize. Fog moves. Fog drifts. Fog rolls. But this is deliberate. I can feel it. A low scrape scratches along the side of the car. My pulse leaps. Tires hiss as I brake slightly. The sound vanishes. Nothing touches me. Nothing is there. Yet the tension refuses to leave my shoulders. I take a shallow breath and scan the road. Headlights beam forward, yet the lines I expect to follow have disappeared. There is no curve, no guardrail, no reflective marker. I am navigating by memory alone, my mental map of the highway bleeding into my imagination. I try humming, a thin tune, just to punctuate the silence. The fog absorbs it, muting my voice before it leaves the lips. Then there's a shift. Behind me, a faint crackle of gravel, precise, deliberate, too regular to be wind or tire. I freeze. My stomach knots. I strain to hear over the sound of my own breathing. Another shift. A subtle brush, not on the car, not yet, but very close, almost under the skin of perception. It is moving at my pace, matching it. I want to stop. I want to pull over, but the shoulder is gone, vanished into the white void. I can't tell if I am still on the road. The car is moving, but how fast? I glance at the speedometer. The needle quivers between 20 and 30, never settling. The fog distorts its reflection, turns the numbers into ghostly echoes. I feel as if I am in water. I feel as if the car has become a boat, drifting through some opaque, listening medium. A whisper brushes the inside of the cabin. Faint, imperceptible, so soft I convince myself it is the hum of the engine or my imagination. It is not, says my name. I can't be sure how. The sound seems to arise from everywhere and nowhere, curling around the seats, vibrating in the metal frame. I turn my head. Empty. My throat dries. I swallow. Nothing. Silence resumes, but it is pregnant with expectation, as though the fog itself waits for me to move again. I grip the wheel tighter. I force my eyes to the road, though there is none. The world is reduced to light, the cone of my headlights, the immediate road under the tires, and the fog pressing in on all sides. Every shadow in the mist might be a tree, a guardrail, or it might be something else. Something patient. I try to focus on breathing. In, out, a rhythm. The car responds obediently, yet something follows. Always just outside the reach of vision. Sometimes close, sometimes farther, but always keeping pace, mirroring my movements, echoing my heartbeat. I turn slightly. Something shifts in the mist. It's a subtle motion, not a shape, not yet, but the disturbance is unmistakable. The fog bends. The air vibrates. The white space acknowledges me. I whisper, half to myself, half in hope. Who's there? No answer. Only a pressure, like the weight of air condensed behind my eyes. A slow, deliberate brushing sound circles the tires, passes over the hood. I can feel its path through vibrations transmitted by the chassis. There is intelligence here. Presence. Patient, careful, unseen. Minutes stretch or hours, I cannot tell. Time has dissolved in the fog. I tap the horn lightly. The sound is absorbed, turned into a thin echo that returns seconds later, distant and warped. Something moved toward the echo, answering it, brushing past the sound waves. The fog responds like water disturbed by stone. I do not see it, but I feel the displacement. I dare not slow. I dare not stop. My hands are raw from holding the wheel. My knuckles are white. I keep moving, though the road has vanished. The speedometer flickers. I am moving, I am still, I am nowhere. The fog is everywhere. A shadow sweeps across the edge of the headlights. Not solid. Not defined. A distortion in the air. A ripple that suggests form. A long, twisting motion that parallels the car. I blink. Gone. I know it is there. I know it has been with me the entire stretch. My pulse is high, my mind fraying at the edges. I try reasoning. It is fog, fog makes illusions. Light bends, air moves, but the sound, the deliberate pressure, the echoing whispers, the brushing, cannot be dismissed. Logic falters. I feel watched, monitored, matched. Then, a voice, clearer this time, almost articulate, slips just outside hearing. Why do you run? It asks. It is not angry, not mocking, neutral, observational. The sound curls through the cabin, through the metal, into the seat, into my chest. I swallow. My throat is dry. I cannot answer. Ahead, the headlights flicker. The fog thickens, the halo swelling into impenetrable whiteness. The car drifts. I am certain of movement, yet the road, if there is one, has dissolved completely. Every instinct screams to stop, to flee, to do something, yet there is nowhere to go. Only fog, only presence, only the constant echo of my own fragile existence. I turn the wheel slightly. The shadow follows. I accelerate. It accelerates. I slow. It slows. Always present, always measuring, always patient. Never revealing, never touching, never letting me see. Just mirroring, always there. Then the whispering grows louder, layered, as though multiple voices are brushing against the metal simultaneously. I can no longer discern individual tones. They are one and yet not. They imitate the wind, the tires, the faint hum of the engine, but subtly wrong, slightly delayed, as if practicing my own sounds. I close my eyes for a fraction of a second. A mistake. The fog presses in, condenses, and I feel the weight of it in the seat, around my shoulders, against my skin. I open my eyes. There is a figure, or what my mind interprets as one, standing within a foot of the passenger window, just out of clarity. It shifts as I blink. Never solid, never defined, just enough suggestion to ignite panic. The car shudders faintly. My foot lifts instinctively from the accelerator. I press it back down. The car moves. The presence moves. Always matching. Always patient. Always watching. I realize I will never leave the fog. Not really. The road is gone. The world is gone. Only this pressing, breathing, measuring white remains. And in the deepest, most intimate part of that mist, I sense it waiting for me to see it clearly, if I dare. I do not. I drive on. The first time I noticed it, I thought it was coincidence. A car passed me on the two-lane highway, headlights cutting through the fog-thick night. The driver's face was illuminated for a fraction of a second. Pale, blank, staring straight ahead. Lifeless, not asleep, not distracted, just staring. My pulse jumped, and I told myself I was seeing things. The road stretched on, empty except for occasional reflectors catching the light in dull flashes. I eased my foot off the accelerator, listening to the engine hum, letting the fog curl around the headlights. Somewhere in the distance, a branch scraped the guardrail. Nothing else moved. Then another car appeared, coming toward me. The same pattern. Headlights, a fleeting glimpse of the driver's face, and the same emptiness in those eyes. I swallowed. This time I held my breath. The driver's gaze seemed to slide past the glass. Not at the road, not anywhere, but somewhere inside the fog, inside the quiet that swallowed the highway. I blinked. It was gone. I shook my head and sped up slightly. The road curved into a hill, dipping out of sight. When I crested it, another car waited, tail lights glinting red in the fog. As I passed, I caught the driver's face again. Identical. Same lifeless eyes. Same pale expression. My stomach churned. I tried to rationalize. Maybe it was a coincidence. A series of doppelgangers. Similar cars, similar faces. But something in the way it felt wrong. Too precise. Too identical. I looked behind me. No cars. I accelerated, the tires hissing on the damp asphalt. The fog seemed thicker here, curling around the headlights like fingers, pressing against the glass. Another car emerged in the distance. Again, the same face. My pulse hammered against my ribs. I muttered to myself, trying to dispel the panic. My hands gripped the wheel so hard the leather creaked. The engine hummed, a constant reminder of the car's presence, of my own life, of movement. But the world outside was broken, untrustworthy. Another car appeared, and another, each one passing, each one carrying that same driver. Each one staring, utterly empty, yet somehow aware. I tried to count them, track them, but the road twisted and looped in ways I couldn't measure. My headlights cut through the fog, yet I couldn't see beyond the cones of light. Then, just when I thought it couldn't get worse, I saw one of the cars stopped on the shoulder. The driver's head turned slightly, not toward me, but toward the car I was in. A hint of recognition, or was it expectation? My stomach sank. I could not turn my eyes away. The expression remained fixed, pale, empty, yet it carried something new, awareness. I pressed the accelerator. The tires shrieked against asphalt, throwing up tiny stones that vanished into the fog. The car moved faster, yet I felt a phantom pressure behind me, a rhythm I couldn't place. Another car approached, headlights bright. My heart thudded against my chest. This one didn't pass, stayed parallel, matching my pace. I turned my head sharply, and for the first time, the driver's eyes met mine. Not through the fleeting reflection of a passing glance, but directly, deliberately. The blankness had depth now. It acknowledged me. I yanked the wheel, swerving slightly. The other car mirrored me. Subtly, almost imperceptibly, it adjusted, sliding through the fog as if bound by the same invisible guide rails. My breath came in shallow gasps. I couldn't explain it, and logic offered no comfort. The road widened into a shallow curve. More cars appeared, staggered, always matching, always watching. I tried accelerating. They followed. I slowed. They mirrored me. Panic clawed at my chest. I could not escape, yet I had not touched any other vehicles. None were visible behind me. The fog swallowed the space like a vacuum. I forced myself to blink, to focus on the interior of my car. The dashboard glowed dimly, the radio silent, the hum of the engine anchoring me to some semblance of reality. My hands ached from gripping the wheel. I tried talking aloud, shaking my head, hoping for rationality, but the sound felt hollow, swallowed immediately by the thick, viscous fog outside. Then I saw it. Another car had emerged seemingly from nowhere, positioned in the middle of the lane ahead of me. The driver sat still, staring forward, but as I approached, the headlights reflected briefly in the rearview mirror. And there it was again, the same face, but now the eyes tracked me perfectly in my mirror, following my movements, anticipating the curves I took, as if it could see inside the car, inside me. I yanked the wheel again, steering sharply. The car outside responded instantly. A shiver ran through my spine, electric and cold. How could it react so quickly? There were no roads to guide it beyond the curve I took. Yet somehow it mimicked every motion. The repetition became suffocating. Every vehicle on this stretch carried the same driver, same lifeless face, same unblinking eyes, and each one seemed subtly aware, matching, following, measuring, not physically near me, but psychologically inseparable. I slowed, hoping to break the pattern. The other cars did not slow. They spaced themselves at intervals, lining the foggy road as if waiting. My stomach churned. I forced my eyes to the rearview mirror. Nothing. Yet the awareness was palpable. The presence. It was not behind me. It was with me. I tried counting again. 5, 6, 7. The numbers became meaningless. Every car was the same. Every face was the same. And now I realized the faces were not just identical. They were extensions of something larger, something watching, something that had learned the rhythm of the road, my behavior, my heartbeat. I turned sharply onto an exit ramp, hoping the pattern would break. The fog thickened at the junction. A single car emerged ahead of me, impossibly close. The driver's head tilted, not forward, not away, but ever so slightly toward me. An acknowledgement, a recognition, not anger, not malice. Something else, something patient. I accelerated. My tires hissed. The engine hummed. I glanced in the mirror, then back at the road. The fog seemed to pulse, almost alive, and in that movement, the faces multiplied. Every car I passed was the same, yet different in a way my mind could not grasp. Every pair of eyes followed, anticipating. I pressed the accelerator harder. Then I saw it. In the distance, impossible, beyond physics, another car. Not approaching, not receding. Stationary in the lane, perfectly aligned with the road. Lights dimmed, silhouette unmistakable. The driver identical. And this time the expression shifted. A subtle tilt of the head, a faint flicker of movement, as though it had been waiting for me to arrive. I gritted my teeth. My breath came fast, shallow, sharp. My hands ached. The road itself seemed to curve under the fog's influence, edges vanishing into nothingness. My headlights illuminated only air, only mist, yet I could feel the alignment of the other car, the other driver, perfectly coordinated with me. I realized then that it was no coincidence. It had never been. The highway was a stage. I was the only actor, and the driver, always the same, was not just a figure. It was a signal. Presence, a measure. I turned onto a side road, hoping to escape the endless repetition. My tires crunched on gravel. The fog seemed thinner, lighter, but then I caught movement at the corner of my eye. One car, another, dozens, scattered through the mist, all identical, all aware, all watching, waiting. I pressed my foot to the floor. The engine roared. Headlights flared. The fog consumed everything. I could not see the road. I could not see the horizon. I could only see them. And then, in a reflection on my side mirror, I caught something that froze my blood. Not a car, not the road, but my own face, pale, lifeless, staring straight ahead. The highway stretched on, and somewhere in the fog, they were still waiting.